Two important things you should have in mind when you are preparing your Canadian resume to look for a job in Canada, especially if you're applying from outside Canada. So the number one thing you should have in mind when preparing your Canadian resume is what we call discretionary information. So here we are talking about the information that is not necessarily important for the kind of job vacancy for which you are applying to, and could take away from the relevant information that you need to highlight in your Canada resume. So for example, here we are talking about, let's say I am a certified public accountant, but I also have a degree in culinary arts, for example, and I am applying for the role of a chef. So it is irrelevant for me to include maybe my training as a certified public accountant, for example. So we are also talking about irrelevant training that you may have in a completely different degree from the particular job for which you're applying for. Or maybe I have work experience as a plumber, I have work experience as a farm worker, and I have work experience as a chef. So for this particular example, I am applying for the role of a chef. It may not be necessarily important for me to bring my work experience as a farm laborer in this particular situation, because it could take away on my experience as a chef for this is the role for which I'm applying for. So make sure that you are very discreet in terms of information you are providing. Focus on what is important, focus on the job description, and see how your particular experience, your background, your education fits in with what the job description is calling for. So the number two thing you need to have in mind when you are preparing your Canada resume to get a job in Canada or any other part of the world for that matter is bias information. So do not include any kind of information that could potentially lead to unfair judgment on your part. So it is unfair, but we live in this world, like we are human. And there are those unconscious biases that people might already have in their mind. So you don't want to feed those biases by including information that could lead to you being judged unfairly. So for example, your religious information, your political views, your marital status, your age, putting your picture there, putting things that are not really going to help your CV. So for example, instead of putting your location, if you're applying for a job in Canada, outside of Canada, how about you put your LinkedIn profile and maybe put in your email address instead and just put your phone number, yeah? So don't focus on those things that could increase the chances of unconscious biases leading to unfair judgment on your part. So we are also talking about things like pictures, yeah? Don't bother putting your picture on that CV. Nobody cares to see. They're more interested in what's between your ears than how you look like. So make sure that even as you're preparing your CV, you put these two things in mind: discretionary information as well as bias information. Well, guys, that's it for today in terms of the two things you need to have in mind when preparing your Canadian resume to apply for a job in Canada. As usual, if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a sweet comment below and share the video within your networks. Thank you for staying to the end. I will see you on the next one. Bye.